Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, Chapter 22, Thorn Valley, Part 2. Yet the bottom of the valley is yet level and broad and nearly a mile long. Steep cliffs wall it in all around. There are 3 ponds or small lakes in it, and apparently these are fed by springs, for they never dry up. On clear days, the owl said he sometimes saw a fish swimming in them. I thought, could rats weave fish nets or make fish hooks? It was this valley I was looking for the day when I was out with Jenner. I had careful directions from the owl, yet it took us half a day, moving briskly to reach the base of the mountains. Then up, very steeply for more than an hour. Not really difficult for us, for rats are better climbers than men. Also, we are shorter, so we had little trouble with the spiny underbrush. From the top of the high ridge, at last we looked down, and the valley lay before us. It was beautiful and still, a wild and lonely place. Through the green and yellow treetops below us I could see water of one of the ponds sparkling in the sun. I got an idea that our eyes, were the first to ever see it. Yet that was not true, for as we descended into the valley, a deer suddenly appeared in the trees ahead and went bounding off into the slope. There were wild animals there, and I wondered if they even suspected that these outside walls of the mountain were cities and roads and people. Most of the valley floor was in forest, great spending oaks and maple trees, but near one of the ponds I saw what I had hoped to find, a large natural clearing, a glade where only coarse grass and wild flowers grew, and some clumps of black raspberry bushes. This clearing was on the far side of the valley. Beyond it, mountain walls rose again, a steep slope with a big outcroppings of stone, granite ledges that thrust 6 or 10 feet out of the earth. "We could live here," I said to Jenner. "I suppose we could," he said. "It's a beautiful place, but it's a long way from the barn. Think about how far we'd have to carry food, and no electricity." "We could grow our own food," I said. I started to add, but didn't, and maybe, someday, make our own electricity if we decided we want to. "We don't know how. Anyway, where would we grow it?" "Right here. It would be easy to clear away these weeds and bushes, and if we dug into that mountainside, under these rock ledges, we'd have all the cave space we wanted, dry and warm, with a good roof. There would be enough room for 1,000 of us." "There aren't 1,000 of us." "There might be someday." "But why? Why move? We've got a better place to live right now. We've got all the food we want. We've got electricity and lights and running water. I can't understand why everybody talks about changing things." "Because everything we have is stolen." "That's silly. Is it stealing when farmers take milk from cows or eggs from chickens? They're just smarter than the cows and the chickens. That's all. Well, people are our cows. If we're smart enough, why shouldn't we get food from them?" "It's not the same. Farmers feed the cows and the chickens and take care of them. We don't do anything for what we take. Besides, if we keep it up, we're sure to be found out." "What then? What if we are? People have been trying to exterminate rats for centuries, but they haven't succeeded, and we're smarter than the others. What are they going to do? Dynamite us? Let 'em try. We'll find out where they keep the dynamite and use it on them." "Then we'd really be found out. Don't you see, Jenner? If we ever did anything like that, they'd figure out who we are and what we know. Then only 2 things could happen. Either they'd hunt us all down and kill us, or they'd capture us and put us in a sideshow, and maybe take us back to Nim. And this time, we'd never get away." "I don't believe any of that," Jenner said. "You got this idea stuck in your head. We've got to start from nothing and work hard and build a rat civilization. I say, why start from nothing if you can start with everything? We've already got a civilization." "No, we haven't. We're just living on the edge of somebody else's, like fleas on a dog's back. If the dog drowns, the fleas drown too." That was the beginning of an argument that would never have a satisfactory ending. Jenner would not yield to my point of view, nor I to his. It wasn't that he was lazy and didn't want to work. He was just more cynical than the rest of us. Stealing did not bother him. And he was a pessimist. He never believed that we could really make it on our own. Maybe he was right, but I, and most of the others, felt that we must at least try. If we fail, well, then I suppose we must come back here, or find some other farm, or eventually forget all we learned and go back to stealing garbage. So we began working out the plan. It has been a long time coming. 3 years ago, this spring, we started watching Mr. Fitzgibbon to learn what he did, and how he did it, to bring food out of the earth. We collected books and magazines on farming. We discovered early that in order to stop stealing, we would, for a while, have to steal more than ever. We've laid up a 2-year food supply so that even if we don't succeed in growing a good crop for the first year, we won't go hungry. We've got 2/3 of it moved to the Thorn Valley already, and we've dug a dry cave to store it in, under one of the big rocks. We've got seeds, we have our plows, we've cleared and cultivated part of the land near the pond, and in a few days we'll begin our first planting. We've even dug some irrigation ditches, in case there's a drought. We have a schedule worked out, sort of a countdown, and by early June we will be out of this cave, and out of Mr. Fitzgibbon's barn, I hope, forever.